Hi, it's Melinda. How are you doing? I'm just looking at my mug. I got a new mug. One of my favorite coffee shops in my local town. It's Willow Switch. I love this mug, and I don't know what it is. I think the lines are maybe a little sexy for me, or maybe they just remind me of my body. I don't know, but I love this mug. It's the little things, it doesn't take much to make me happy. And this is it. This is it. Just this mug right here. So I am coming on live today to discuss positive affirmations. Now, do they work? You will find up and down the internet varying stories. You will find some that say yes, and then you'll find some that say no. And it is entirely up to, after this, what you believe. So let's divulge a little bit into the mind a little bit. So I'm not going to get too scientific here. I'm just coming on to discuss how they basically worked for me. So what happened with me is, of course, many of you already know my story, but without getting into that, the place that I want to start focusing on is, and even when I'm doing current talks, is I was in a place of brokenness, but I want to show you all and the world of where I am now. I want to focus more on that, on the positives. I mean, there is that dark side that happened that made me who I am today, but I want to focus on the positive. So the positive and what came out of all, what rose out of those ashes was the me now. I've evolved. I like to say that I feel like I've arrived, or I'm arriving. And the feeling of just more confidence. I am, and everything I am still working on, because as you remember from a previous video, if you watched that, I did mention that my self-worth, I do still doubt myself. I still have a little bit of a low self-worth and self-confidence, but it's something that I'm working on. Now, we should all be working on all of these things as much as we can through our healing process. Now, you might just be still victimized in that place, in that bad place that you are still now. But there's no reason why you still can't work on yourself. There's no reason why you can't start getting these thoughts, these positive thoughts into your life, as well as journaling, all these little self-healing things. This is so important. I can't stress that enough. And I think I've done that before. I've mentioned how important that is to do these healing techniques, to incorporate them into your life. They were a lifesaver for me. They really were. I had my tribe around me. I just needed, and of course, my God, my Lord there, I needed him above all. But through that weaving of in and out of healing and self-discovery, he pointed me in the direction of meeting people, of finding books that seemed like they leapt off the shelves, or listening to different podcasts, or it was more so towards radio stations and so on back then. But I would hear different, on Oprah, somebody inspirational enough to like say, hey, nudge, 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 this is what you need to listen to. So that's how I started this quest and this journey on finding healing. I did do counseling, just in a nutshell, I did do counseling. I found one that meshed with me, but anyway, long story short, I didn't, 3 counselors later, I wasn't able to find one that meshed with me. So, and the ones that I did find, when I went to them, I felt crummier than when I came in. And I know that's part of the healing process. That's what I've heard. And I didn't want to go back. I didn't want any more panic attacks. I didn't want to keep feeling yucky. Hey, Tammy. So I wanted to move past that and to find something to make me feel better. So I had a friend, her name is Christy. She's like, she gave me, 3 or 4 different techniques that worked for her. And she said, one of these is positive affirmations. What you do, you can stand in front of a mirror, you can write these out, whichever would work for you, or you can record them and just say them maybe about 3 times a day, more if you'd like, and then at 5 minutes at a time. Okay, so like when you're in the car, for an example, on your way to work, while you're standing there brushing your teeth, good afternoon, while you are, let's say you're in the shower, getting ready for work, on the road home, during your lunch hour, anytime you could squeeze in 5 minutes, guys, 5 minutes of time to give yourself a positive boost, that is well worth it. Now, do they work? You'll hear, again, back and forth on the internet and from people, they'll say it doesn't work. None of the journaling doesn't work. None of this other stuff, woo-woo stuff works. Let's talk about positive. So the positive is you're going to be saying these things, these words to yourself Now, how did you get to where you're at right now? A majority of us here have experienced to some degree an area of time where someone called you stupid. They called you ugly. They called you worthless, useless, bitch, whore, any other words. They called you these despicable names. They did it repeatedly and repeatedly. It's like shampoo, rinse, repeat. It happened over and over and over again, whether you heard it when you were a child, when you were a teen, whether you were married with a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. You've heard those words and they repeated them over and over again. Maybe not that person, maybe it was a bully. Whatever the case, you heard those enough time in your mind, in your heart even, to have that make an impression on you. And your self-worth, your self-esteem, it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller every time you heard those words. There are studies that you can find those all over the web, that even they've done different studies where they have water, where they have plants and they are garden. They've said bad things to people, to the water, to the plants. I hope you know what I'm talking about. But it was very fascinating, and just to see what the effects of, hi Melissa, of what happens when you add this negative environment to this plant or this water. It's very fascinating, and what happens even when they freeze it or when they heat it for water, or the plants. It's just amazing when you look into those dynamics. So what I'm trying to say is those words, those negative words, did cause you to feel little, feel small, feel useless, feel worthless, to just feel so small. And we need to build you up again. So building up is a positive affirmation. So if you say, Melinda, I've tried those in the past and they just didn't work for me, do me a favor, try it again. I have fallen off my horse, dusted myself up, got up, and tried it again and again and again. And these are things that I still do now. So if you come to my house, ever come by my house, you will see in my bathroom, I have Post-its. I kid you not. I have Post-its on my bathroom mirror, because these things I do. So everything I talk to you about, everything I do, the mirror work, the journaling, the positive affirmations, I do these. And I don't just talk the talk. I walk what I'm saying. I walk the walk. So I want to encourage you to go ahead and do that. So let me give you a few different ways you can start if you haven't already started. So make a list of the negative things that you think about yourself. Okay, like maybe you think I'm unworthy. You don't even put your hand on your heart or another part of your body, maybe that experiences some tenseness. Now, and I know when I say I'm unworthy, I can feel it in my neck. I can feel my neck just kind of crunching up here. And I can also feel like in the pit of my stomach, it feels a little bit tight or butterfly in there when I say that. So I want you to just think of that, focus on what part of your body is feeling a little bit of tenseness, uncomfortability. And now, after you're done writing your list there of things that maybe you don't like your hair, I have ugly hair, or I don't think I'm beautiful, whatever it is, next to it, okay, so you're going to do like a piece of paper with, on one side, you're going to put the negative, and on the other side, what I want you to do, oh, Tammy, that's terrible. I'm sorry, honey. It does. I'm so glad you tried that. Is that something you've done before, or is that recent? So I'm going to go back while Tammy's going to go ahead and message me back there. So you have a piece of paper, and I wish I would have brought a piece of paper with me. I did it. I know it's, but that's it. So on a piece of paper, just two columns there. On one side, the negatives. On the other side, I want you to go next to those negatives there and write something positive about yourself. Like, let's say I'm unworthy. The other one would be that I am worthy, or I am slow, I am fast, I am quick, I am lightning speed, something like that, Tammy, instead. And or something like maybe you think you're ugly. I'm ugly. No, you're beautiful. God doesn't make junk. You are a beautiful creation. Something of that nature, to go ahead and do that. Oh, good. I'm happy you're doing that. Good. And keep it up. Again, I still do this stuff. I do. I have to. And as a survivor, or even as a human being, everyone needs a little bit of a boost. And sometimes we don't get that from everybody else. So we might need to do that for ourselves. And there's nothing wrong with that. Hi, Candace. There's nothing wrong with giving yourself a little boost there, giving yourself a thumbs up to say, hey, you know what, today I'm amazing. I'm a pretty cool person. Do that. And I know it sounds a little silly, but I do that. And it's not to make myself all big-headed or conceited or anything like that. So again, make yourself a list of negatives on one side of a piece of paper. On the other side, the other column, positive. And if you need help with that, let me know. You send me a private message and I'll go ahead and I'll help you with that. Now, again, do this for 3 times a day for about 5 minutes while you're in the car. Do this while you're brushing your teeth, in the bathroom, whatever you got to do, getting dressed. While you're exercising, if you go out, maybe you're going to go for a walk and or a bike ride, whatever you're going to do these. These would be so great for you. Now, many of our phones do have the technology where we can have a recorder, an app recorder. So if you can record yourself saying wonderful things like, I am worthy, I am beautiful, I am enough, I am a child of God, I am loved, whatever it is you'd like to say. I am a money magnet. Wealth flows through my life on a daily basis. Or miracles follow me every day. Whatever it is that you'd like to affirm for yourself, please go ahead and put it into your life now. Again, get that recorder out, find the app on your phone, record yourself, listen to it at night before you go to bed. There's nothing more awesome than doing that, putting those thoughts and stuffing them in your head before you go to bed, because our mind is always on. They really are. They're always on. Oh, Tammy, that's awesome. Oh, I love that. Yeah, see, I love having like pictures, different things that make me happy. See, that's a great idea. Put pictures of your loved ones up around your mirror, wherever you're going to see them daily. I also do vision boards. So if you haven't done a vision board, I know Leslie just shared hers recently. The affirmations and the vision board work, if you do them both side by side, they can work wonders, really, honestly, you can. So if you don't know what the vision board is about, I think I have those on the video on my other page. Please check that out. Check out Leslie's. Hers is further down in the comments there on a different post, but check into hers. So again, this work, all of it, the mirror work, the affirmations, even the rubber band, I don't know if you haven't read my book yet, it's Rising from the Ashes, how I helped heal my bad conversation, because I had such negative chatter going on in my head. I needed something to try and squash that. And I didn't realize how bad it was until I had a friend mention it, Christy again. She's like, you know what, you really say a lot of bad things about yourself. Wear a rubber band, wear it around your wrist, and snap it anytime a negative thought comes through your head, anytime you have something negative that comes out of your mouth. Go ahead and snap that, and snap it hard. Don't snap it soft. So I had to start doing all of these things in order to heal. I really did. Yes, the best way is at the start of the day, all the time. But if you don't remember until the middle of the night, that's fine too. But yes, it's a great way to start out your days on a positive note. It really is. And I'm more of a girl that sees the glass as half full than half empty. So I always try to remain positive and upbeat. And yes, I love to start my mornings that way. Even if they don't start out that way, sometimes you might stub your toe in the morning or forget your keys in the car or whatever. I try not to let that be a guide for the rest of the day, because you might, and I have done this before, I've had like, oh man, the rest of the day is going to be so crappy. No, it won't. It's just one of those things, you might be late for an event, but as it turns out, maybe there was a horrible accident that because you were late, you didn't get involved in. So I try to think of it a little more positive than that. So with, again, all this healing, it's whatever you put into it. It takes work. It does take work. And you might not see results like overnight. It does take time. It took me about 2 to 3 weeks to stop snapping the rubber band on my wrist, because that hurt. And for the rest of these, it's been ongoing. I have to. Anytime I kind of think of myself as being kind of cruddy or crummy, it's like, okay, I got to get back into those affirmations again, or I've got to maybe make a new vision board, or perhaps I need to do some kind of self-help work with listening to someone that is like, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, maybe, oh gosh, Lisa Nichols as an example. She's really great. I love listening to her. If I had a person to meet, I would love to meet her, and I think we would be best friends. I really do. Hi, Danielle. Oh, really? That's awesome. All right. I'm talking about your vision boards with the Tupperware. Tammy, that's awesome. I think that's fantastic. That is a great idea. I've used them I've been able to manifest cars, my house. I've done different situations, people I've wanted to meet. And so they work. They really do. They really do. Now, but you have to be specific when you are looking for your vision boards. I've noticed that. When I looked for a car, I just said, well, I want a Jeep. I didn't give specifics, and I didn't care if it was used or new or if I want it or whatever. Well, I got it and our engine blew. But I got my Jeep, my house. I love my house. And I've shared this story before. I love my house. And I was looking for my forever home. We thought we were going to go on the road in an RV to go cross country to find our forever home and to help out, kind of like a ministry, help out other people along the way. But that kind of fell through. I got sick with Lyme. My daughter was pregnant with her first child. So things kind of fell apart. But I found this home, and I just slapped on farmhouse. Well, we found it. We got it for $14,000. It was a steal. It's a foreclosure. The windows were broken up. The back porch, the floor is a little bit of a carnival slant. There's leaking in the attic. It just goes on and on, but I love the house, and it's a work in progress. So be specific when you are looking for maybe a future mate, when you're looking for that future job, a house, car, be very specific. I mean, even down to if you want that person to smoke or like the same interests, like cars, like kids, animals, be very specific when you're looking for those goals, even in your business. Hey, I want to hit $10,000 by the end of the month, and this is how I'm going to do it. Just be very specific with that. Oh, you're fine, Danielle. Yes. Yeah, I know. People will go, as you mentioned, yes, people look at you like you're crazy. And I know I've had that look. I've had those people, and then they just say, no, they don't work. But they work if you work for it. You have to. I chatted with a lady, and I did invite her to a group, but she hasn't came. But nice lady. I first met her at a vision board session. I met her there. She didn't come to the class. She was a little shy, and so this was about 5-6 years ago. So when she came, she's like, I really need to talk to you. I wanted to do the vision board, and we talked about vision boards. I gave her like a big Cliff Note version, small, short one. And then we started talking. She actually was a victim of abuse. So we talked about that. Briefly tried to get her to do maybe call a shelter, but then she's like, well, no. And at that time I think I was just getting my safety plan and advice, tips and orders. So we talked about that, exchanged phone numbers. We talked for quite a while, but I gave her some tips to use, what I was doing for healing. Every time I would get to talk to her about that subject, it doesn't work. Melinda, I don't know why you tell me these things. They don't work. I tried that already. Or I tried that for like 3 days and it didn't work. And it was like hitting a brick wall. Every time I talked to her, I just felt worse and worse and worse. I tried to help her as best I can. There's just some people, unfortunately, they don't seem to want to get help. I don't know if that makes sense. But I talk to her even now. And it's sad because she's still in the same place. She's become very bitter, and she's not open or receptive for any kind of healing. No matter what, I've said, I'll come over to your house. We'll have coffee. We'll do this. And, she has some health issues. So I said, well, I'll do some reflexology on your feet. And it's just, no. And, I've offered guidance, friendship. After a while, I had to stop taking her calls because she was just so negative. And Terry said, you know what? Every time you get off the phone with her, you just look so sad. And he said, you really need to stop talking to her. So, again, she's still in the same place. I do reach out to her every once in a while, but there's some folks, they just don't want to do that. They really don't. They don't want to get better or to get help. They really don't. And that's sad. That really is. Okay, I'm looking at Tammy's message here. Yes, break it down, because you know what? If you do those tasks, I have a to-do list. I don't know what I did with my to-do list. Am I just a to-do list? No, but I did. Oh, it's my little to-do list. But I take it down in little bits, because if I do too long, it's just too overwhelming, too many tasks. So yes, and I even use a timer too to do my goals. I really do. I like using the timer, and then celebrate when you have those wins. Maybe it's, maybe you stop talking about yourself poorly. If you notice that you're not, hey, I'm not talking about myself in a bad way, or maybe when I put on a pair of clothes, I used to say I looked really fat, or it showed my back fat or something. And make that a win. Make that a win that, hey, I didn't say that. I'm wearing this and I feel awesome today. Just something. Or something on your vision board happens. Maybe you meet the rock star that you've always wanted to meet. That's time for celebration. Even if they're little goals, make them and celebrate. I think that's awesome. I love that they taught that to you, Tammy. That's awesome. That really is. That is awesome. I try to get my kids, my older daughter will do the vision board. And because well, let's see, for 10 years now, they've heard mom talk about all this stuff. So my older daughter, she's got a vision board going on, and she does the positive affirmations. I actually made some for her on Post-its. So she was using those. She's made up her own. And my middle daughter, she still has she struggles a lot with anxiety and such. And my little guy, you've seen him on videos. He is just, I'm afraid he's a ham like his mama. he does his own, he does affirmations too. He's really a cutie. And I'm glad that he's learning at this young age to be more positive. Yes. Yes, daily goals. I love that. I really do. My to-do list, I have to, because I get a little bit of memory. Sometimes that slips, so I have to do those. But again, so let's get back on the affirmations. They do work, but you have to put in the work for them to work. So Danielle, please don't give up. I know they're going to look at you like you're crazy. Keep it up. If you would like, I'm happy to come on and even talk about those if you'd like sometime. I'd be happy to do that. Come on in and chat with anybody, or, make that like a class if you'd like. Just let me know. I'm happy to. And if you need help, if anybody needs help with more affirmations, I think I have a list of 100 or 50. If you'd like some to get you started, I'm happy to do that. Again, keep them in a notebook. I do have the index cards, which I didn't bring down this time, but I've shared them in another video. I use not only affirmations, but I might use some poems that make me feel good. Also, there are scripture that really lifts me up. So I'll put those verses down. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I love that. That's my favorite in Philippians. So whatever helps you, whatever gets you through those tough times, especially when you're feeling sad. And sometimes I get up and I'm not feeling like I feel worthy today. You don't feel it. But no, you say it enough, say it several times, keep it up. Just keep it going. Make it a part of your routine. And trust me, they do work. But again, it does take work in order for them to happen. So I'm going to sign off, ladies. I love chatting with you. Thank you so very much for listening and tuning in. If you have any other suggestions, any other tips yourselves, because those are great. I love those, Tammy. Please keep up the good work, Danielle. Tell them in the shelter that this does work. Honestly, if you need help with the vision boards, ladies, we can do that. I'm happy to go ahead and help you with that. Any other suggestions, tips, anything else? Let me know privately. I'll let you go. I love you. Be good. Stay safe. And I'll talk to you later. Signing off. Bye.